The internet had a fun time reacting to Michael Bisping being announced as the next fight for the return of Georges St-Pierre. Georges St-Pierre, who I believe actually did once claim he was abducted by aliens, which is kind of awesome because, I mean, it would make sense why he was such a good UFC fighter. Anybody who fights at the level that GSP fought at, probably abducted by aliens, so there might be truth to what he's saying. Just like how the earth is flat, but Tish. So GSP's coming back to fight Bisping. It's probably going to happen in fall. I know Helwani was talking about on the Twitter that like there's a good spot for UFC 211 or 213. I'm off by a little bit there. Regardless, it seems like fall, end of the year. Now, why does GSP get to get an immediate title shot? Money. Duh. I don't know how many times I'm going to have this argument with people on Twitter, but they think like there's a group of people who believe that the UFC should always pick fights based on merit. And while that's good and dandy and all, that's not how the business side works. And again, I have to triple down on the statement. With WME being a majority owner or a major stakeholder in the UFC, they want fights that will put people in the seats, that they can ramp up ticket prices, and that they can get enough interest across this country, the United States, and overseas. So you're talking about a return of the people's champion, right, in GSP, versus Michael Bisping, who has defied all odds, everything against conventional wisdom, which says, like, this guy, who's got the most fights in the UFC, I think it's history, he's fought like 40 times, it's not that many. But in general, it's going to be an interesting fight. Now, Yoel Romero was cryptic by telling a story on Twitter when he was waiting to get food and you needed papers for it in his hometown. And he said basically the gist of what he was trying to say, even though I also think he missed a tweet. I think like one of the parts of the story is saved in drafts, and maybe he's Tarantinoing us after all. It basically has to do with he knows he'll get his title shot next. So, okay, wait on that, Yoel Romero. I think the drug test has something to do with that as well. So, in Bisping and GSP's case, I loved this little take from TMZ from Bisping. He's a really funny interview, so he has a lot of good trash talking, whatever you want to say, in the way that he has his confidence in himself, Bisping, in that manner. So here, let's throw to the tape. Here's the tape of TMZ and Bisping.
Obviously, the big news is you're fighting GSP. You know, is that fair that GSP gets a title shot immediately after taking 3 years off?
GSP was one of the greatest fighters that this world has ever produced, one of the greatest fighters in the UFC ever. So the guy's coming back. Listen, he should fight for a title. He stepped away as a dominant champion. He's coming back. It's just like in boxing. Marvin Hagler fought Sugar Ray Leonard when Sugar Ray Leonard came back out of retirement, and Sugar Ray Leonard won the fight. He took back the title. So, you know, it's a big fight.
He's going up a weight class to fight.
Yep.
So, you know, you got the size advantage. How are you feeling going into this?
Yeah, listen, like every fight, you know, right. I'm feeling very confident. Georges St-Pierre is crazy. He thinks he's going to come back after 3 years and beat me. Are you crazy? Anderson Silva couldn't beat me. Dan Henderson couldn't beat me. Pound for pound, best in the world. Luke Rockhold got knocked out in the first round. I don't know what GSP has been sniffing, but he's out of his goddamn mind.
You previously said you'd be willing to fight him with one arm. Does that offer still stand?
Well, unfortunately, I don't need to fight him with one arm, but listen, I'm the bigger guy. I've got the reach. I've got the size. I've got the strength. So I'm not bothered what George brings to the table. Listen, George is a great guy, and he's a good fighter. He's a fantastic fighter, but, you know, do I think I'll win? Of course I do.
By KO? Because, you know, you do got the size.
Yeah, I've got the size, I've got the strike, and I can win any way I want, you know, but I will be looking for a knockout like in all my fights. GSP was out there saying that he was abducted by aliens. You know, I think we can all agree that aliens don't exist. So the guy's out of his mind. This is proof, once again, that GSP is out of his mind. He thinks he's going to stroll off the couch, 3 years sat on his ass, and come in and take my title. The guy's out of his fucking mind.
You know, it's going to be a good fight. The internet reacted in a way that was like, I can't believe he gets an immediate title fight. Again, guys, I'm going to say the same thing 15 times during this video. Ronda Rousey gets an immediate title fight. GSP gets an immediate title fight. If Brock Lesnar went back to the UFC again now, even though he said he retired, they might find a way to get him an immediate title fight, although he'd be like the least deserving. I'm telling you, man, it doesn't matter who. McGregor could sleep for 5 years, wake up, there could have been 15 different champions in 3 different divisions over that time period, and one by one they'd give him a title fight in any division he wanted to fight in. Money, 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 money. That is what people want. That's what the UFC is trying to generate, more and more money. And I don't know, as a fan, how you can complain. I want to see GSP fight Michael Bisping. I get that and look, I get that also that Nick Diaz would have been an amazing fight to see. But I think there's a lot more that goes on to the Diaz brothers in terms of their negotiating tactics and how they try to prop it up. Maybe Nick Diaz doesn't want to fight GSP because the money's not right. I think he wants to fight GSP. I just don't think the money is right for a Diaz brother to do it. So Bisping versus St. Pierre, the return of the People's Champion versus the Count, I believe is Bisping's name. So comment below, like, favorite, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'll be at UFC 209 this weekend. There's a lot of good boxing fights. I'm going to lose all my goddamn money on Fight Game this weekend. So GoFundMe.com/to-be-determined will be how you're going to get Jason back. $40 is all I'll need to get back from Vegas to LA. That's what the cost for gas. Comment below. We'll see you next time.